I call Kelvin Davis.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. Well, that was a kete full of hoha if ever I heard a speech. You know, here we have the National Party that's just spent the last hour championing choice. And what happens? They're denying Māori the choice to stand up for the Te Tiriti o Waitangi. The Māori members of the National Party must be quite embarrassed by their party's stance. But, Mr Speaker, it's not a well-known fact that Queen Elizabeth II and I, well, in Māori terms anyway, are quite closely related. And she doesn't actually mention my name often. I guess that proves she's not a name-dropper. But the reality is my great-great-grandfather's first cousin was godson to Queen Elizabeth II's great-great-grandmother's great-great-grandmother.
So close then.
So if we overlay the Māori whakapapa framework, that basically means we're whānau. But despite the fact that we're whānau, Queen Elizabeth II has been to New Zealand a number of times, and each time she heads up to Waitangi, drives right past our marae. She never once has swung into her whānau's marae. You know, whānau, my marae is her marae. Not once have I seen her turn up, not once have I heard her karanga, not once have I heard her waiata, not once has she peeled a spud or washed a plate or opened kinners whatsoever. When I've been over to, on the odd occasion over to England, I turn up to her place, no pōwhiri, no karanga, not even a whakatau. In fact, there's this big wrought iron fence out the front of her marae with these guys with red jackets and big woolly hats on and guns keeping me out. She doesn't know anything about whanaungatanga or manaakitanga or anything like that. And the point of the story is, Mr Speaker, is that Queen Elizabeth has absolutely no understanding or any ability to relate to who I am and where I'm from as a Māori New Zealander. And I have absolutely no ability to relate to her and where she comes from. And yet when I walked into this house here and I had to put my hand on the Bible, I had to swear allegiance to a lovely great-grandmother who lives over in England. I didn't have the opportunity as a Māori Member of Parliament to swear allegiance to Te Tiriti o Waitangi and its principles. And that, Mr Speaker, is really unacceptable, and the National Party had an opportunity today, or has an opportunity today, to change that. See, I can relate to the Treaty of Waitangi because I grew up where the place was signed, I grew up at the place where it was signed. My great-great-great-great-grandfather was one of the signatories. He was the grandfather of that godson of Queen Victoria's. I ran around and played as a kid on the place known as Taurangatira, where the chiefs sat on the 5th of February and debated and discussed the Treaty of Waitangi before the next day heading over the river to sign it. I've been all around, we used to walk freely all around the Waitangi Treaty grounds when I was a young person until Pita Praone and Peeni Henare and all the other members of the Waitangi Trust actually put a charge on it. And I've even hit a few hit a few golf balls up the fairway that runs parallel to the treaty grounds. In fact, probably more of my golf balls have landed on the treaty grounds than landed on the fairway. But the fact of the matter is, as a Māori, I can relate to the Treaty of Waitangi and the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi. I cannot relate to a lovely great-grandmother who sits in her house at the end of the Mall in London. It means nothing to me, and it means nothing to many of my Māori compatriots, even non-Māori members of Parliament. I remember as a teenager when I signed up for Teachers College in 1984 having to go down to the local chemist because he was the Justice of the Peace, George Bark. He made me put my hand on a Bible as well and swear allegiance to that same English great-grandmother. And it just didn't mean anything to me then. It was a bit embarrassing because he made me do it in the middle of his shop with all the customers walking around, and I just thought it was ridiculous. The Treaty of Waitangi is something, Mr. Speaker, that I can relate to, that I can swear allegiance to, that all New Zealanders can swear allegiance to if they want. Marama Fox is only asking for us to have the choice. Thank you.
Joanne Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.